So your teacher says, here, learn this. And then you're like, huh? And then he says, do this activity. And after the activity, you're like, wait, what? And then he gives you a test. And after the test, you're kind of walking around like this. Well, let's hope you don't get to that point. And in this video, I'm going to try and explain to you what your Spanish teacher is thinking when teaching you the verb ser and these subject pronouns in Spanish. So let's take a look at this on the screen. If at any time you think, hey, I like this document or I want these words, they are in the description of the video. There's a link that will take you to a document and you can download it or save it to your Google Drive if you'd like and follow along that way. So here we go, let's get to it. What you see here in front of you is kind of the goal. This is where you want to get to with this verb ser. Before we do that though, what we're going to do is take two separate pieces of information and then put them together and then get what you see here on the screen in front of you. So I'm going to start by showing you guys just the subject Spanish subject pronouns, or personal pronouns, they're also referred to as. And these are the words I, you, he, she, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and pronounce these for you and then explain a couple things to you and then we'll move on to the next part. So yo, or I in English is yo, you is tú, he is él, ella for she, and usted for you. I'll explain all these yous in a second. We is nosotros or nosotras. You plural is vosotros or vosotras. They is either ellos or ellas. Sorry about the typo. And then lastly, we have you plural, ustedes. So let me explain a few things to you. This to right here is an informal or familiar to. So you would use this you when you're talking to your friends or if a teacher was talking to their student, but it wouldn't be used if a student was speaking to their teacher or to a police officer, for example. You don't use this when you're talking to a you for whom you want to show respect. You would use this you down here, which is the you formal. So él is he, ella is she, usted is that you formal. Jump over here to the right. We have the two nosotros and nosotras. The difference, obviously, is this letter A or O right here. So the nosotras is if it's just a group of girls saying we. For nosotros, it's either just all guys saying we, or it's a group of guys and girls saying we. I put a little asterisk here in España because the vosotros is used in Spain only, and it's you plural, and it's an informal you plural. So if in Spain the teacher was going to say to his students, you have homework tonight, he would use this vosotros. And the same thing applies with the os versus the as, just girls, just boys, or boys and girls. And then down here we have ellos, ellas, and ustedes. The whole as and os thing is the same. This is just boys or boys and girls, and this is just girls for they. And this ustedes, you plural, but it's not necessarily a formal you plural. So in every country pretty much other than Spain, if a teacher wanted to say you have homework talking to his students, he would use this ustedes for you. But it could be formal depending on the situation. So if a student was talking to two of his teachers and you want to say you guys are good teachers, he could use this ustedes right here. So what I highly suggest you do, especially if you're in like your typical Spanish 1 high school class, you need to memorize this chart. You have to have the information not only in its location, but also know what it means as well, because it's going to help you along the way as you go further in Spanish. Next what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this verb ser. Ser means to be. Yes, there is another way to say to be in Spanish. That's for a different lesson though. So we're going to look at the conjugation of the verb ser. This is when I break it down into its different forms. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the pronunciation of them. We have soy, eres, es, somos, sois, and son. And you'll notice that most of them just have the one meaning, but these ones down here can have different meanings depending on the context. So this one, the S, you'll remember if I go up here, for these two it's going to mean is, for he is or she is, ls or ella es. But for the usted, it'll mean you are, because usted means you. And that works the same way with the son. If it's the they, it'll be they are, and if it's the ustedes, it'll be you plural are. And then this right here, you're going to want to have this memorized along with the previous information, and I'm going to show you what that would look like. So in this chart, I've kind of put the two together, superimposed one onto the other. So we have yo soy for I am. You'll notice that the yo is in the parentheses here because it's optional. Soy by itself means I am. Yo soy means I am. The difference is you're just either putting emphasis on the I part, or maybe you're clarifying who it is we're talking about. And that's the same for most of these as well. So we have tú eres for you are, or just eres for you are. Él es, ella es, or usted es for he, she is, or you are. Nosotros or nosotras somos for we are. Vosotros, vosotras sois. Ellos and ellas, there's my typo again, let's fix that. For they are, and ustedes son for you are, plural. So, like maybe you came into the classroom and you heard someone say just es estudiante. You know that I'm talking about somebody as a student, but I don't know who I'm talking about. So maybe you say, who? Well, I could point to a boy in the class and I could say, oh, él es estudiante, saying he is a student. So that's where that clarification role comes in. I'm going to go down a little bit here further, and I'm going to show you why this is super important to know these subject pronouns. So here's the subject pronoun chart over here. Now let's look at this verb right here. We have the verb comer. This video isn't about the verb comer, but I'm going to show you why this is super important. What's going to happen is your teacher is going to write on the board in the future, comer, to eat, which comer means to eat. But all that he or she's going to write are the 6 different conjugations of the verb comer. And what your teacher is going to assume is that you've memorized this chart over here. Without memorizing this chart, you're going to be completely lost. This has nothing to do with any sort of like skill level, intelligence. It's just straight up, can I memorize a chart? So when he writes como right here on the board, you know that como means I eat. You know this because you've memorized that yo or I goes in this top left position of the box. You know that this means you eat. You might know this one down here means he eats, she eats, or you formal eat, because you know this information, and so on and so forth. So it's why it's super important that you memorize this right here. What I've done for you here is I've made an activity. Ignore this comer now. We're moving on. And what I want you to do is fill in the blanks with the correct form of the verb ser. The information you need is on the right over here as a reference. So I've got different subjects, mis amigos, yo, tú, Jose y yo, and Mariana. And what I want you to do is put in either soy, eres, es, somos. I skipped soy, so there are not any sois in there. Or son, and put it into the blank. So if you want to just pause the video really quick and see if you can do that activity just in your head or whatever, do that. And then in about 3 seconds, I'm going to move down to the answers. Okay, if you haven't paused it already, do so, because here come the answers. I'll explain each one to you as well. So we have, mis amigos son de Venezuela, yo soy de Veracruz, y tú, ¿de dónde eres? Jose y yo somos de California, y 5, Mariana es de Peru. So, can I see everything? Yes, I can. What you have to do here is kind of play a matching game, almost. So here's mis amigos, my friends. If I was talking about my friends, where would I find them on this chart over here? It's not me, it's not you, it's not a him or a her or a you formal, it's not us. I told you it wasn't any of these ones. So you know it's they, because I'm talking about them, right? I'm talking about my friends. So if I want to say they are, I'm going to use son. That's how I got that son in that blank. Yo is easy, because there's only one option, yo and soy. So that's super easy. This one also should be easy too. You have y tú. Well, there's only one thing in the box with tú, and that's eres. So that one should have been easy as well. So for number 4, we have Jose y yo. Jose and I. So we have two people here. Who are we talking about? Talking about us, right? So I'm going to say we are from California. That's when I'm going to come up here and put down somos, because it's right here. And the last one, Mariana. So I'm talking about Mariana, my friend. It's not me. It's not you. It's not us. It's not them or you plural. It's just one girl. So I'm saying she is from Peru. So she's over here. So I'm going to choose S to go in that blank. That's pretty much how it works. I'm sorry if this video is kind of long, but I wanted to explain it thoroughly. In the description of the video, I'll put a link to a video in the past where I taught the subject pronouns separately from the verb ser, and I'll also put the video where I taught the verb ser if you just need extra help or more explanation. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. If this helped you out at all, drop a like. I'd appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Hasta luego.